G'day everyone and welcome to a quite late episode 3 of the still unnamed SPA podcast. Let's be honest, it's probably just going to stay the SPA podcast, isn't it?
It's probably just going to stay that. I can't think of a better name and...
Now there's plenty of better names, but does it need one? This is just for like our subscribers and members and supporters.
it goes out to YouTube, but...
That's true, eventually. All right, this is a little bit late this time because we have both been ill for a few weeks. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to hear me sounding like an old man from Lord of the Rings or something with my husky voice. Or maybe you do. I don't know. Write it down in the comments if you want to hear me do a podcast in a stupid voice. So I'm here, as usual, with my lovely wife, Alice.
Hello.
Hello, and coming up we will chat about some more audiobook related stuff, what we're reading, what's coming up on the channel, and we'll run through quite a few questions from the listeners this month. We've had a bunch. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So first up, we have some comments from the previous podcast episodes.
Ooh,
how's that?
Excellent.
Isn't that cool?
We love feedback.
We do.
As long as it's nice.
As long as it's nice. Yeah. I figured that guy could read negative feedback, maybe. Hey, you guys suck. Right? He sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Anyway, all right. So, Lord Gibbington, regarding the comfort readers, which we've been talking about in both the first two episodes, actually, funnily enough.
Yep.
If I'm having a hard time mentally, my comfort blanket is this book, being War of the Worlds, read by Steve.
Aww.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that.
You love being someone's comfort read.
I do, and in particular because I'm actually really proud of War of the Worlds. It might be my favourite of the audiobooks that I've made. 1984 is definitely the most popular, but War of the Worlds might be my favourite because I put a lot of work into that one. So I'm glad people are enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy War of the Worlds too. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's nice. We've got at least one question about that coming up later, actually, so that's cool.
Good. Cool.
And another comment. This one is supporting you, my lovely wife.
Excellent.
Anna Webb, regarding the reading of multiple titles at the same time.
Yes.
From podcast episode 1, you filthy heathens. And she says, I'm defending your wife on one point. Multi-reads all the way. I'm currently listening to the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, narrated by Jefferson Mays, reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, and doing a buddy read of Sabriel by Garth Nix, and got an ebook of Johnny and the Bomb by Terry Pratchett on Libby for when I'm at work. And she's actually going through and reading all the Terry Pratchett books as well, just like I am.
Anna, I like you. You are on Team Multi-Read, so points there. And all of those books you're currently reading, I have either read or are on my to-read list.
Wow.
So fantastic taste in books. Thank you.
There you go. No, none of them were read by me, but that's all right. Unfortunately, I can't read everything. As I keep saying to people when they ask for modern works, hopefully one day we'll get the sort of support to make the sort of money that I need to actually pay for licensing so
That's
we
the
can
goal.
Read something new. That's it. Who knows, maybe getting the books up on Spotify and libraries and that sort of thing might actually help. So we might be moving in the right direction. We hope. So let's move on to our first proper section. What are we reading? And I think you've got this one, haven't you?
Yep, I thought I would speak about a book. I actually just finished it. It's called Witchmark by C.L. Polk. Not an author I'd heard of before, not a book I'd heard of before, just picked it up from Libby.
That's great.
It's a fantasy, I guess, but it's set in like Edwardian era England. There's quite a unique magic system in there, and it's got like the ruling class using their magic to keep everyone's kind of safe, and this system where they have a secondary, they kind of draw power from a secondary person. And there's
is that like a leeching relationship or a symbiotic thing? Like, are they draining peasants to get their power or something? Or
no, like it's like an agreed upon sort of this is how we work. There's a
Okay.
stronger magic user, and the secondary supports them by
Right.
pushing power towards it.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so yeah, kind of an interesting sort of dynamic there. But that is like the ruling class that has the magic and controls the magic, and anyone else who pops up that happens to has magic kind of ends up a bit crazy for some reason.
Right.
Anyway, our main character is a secondary, but he decided he didn't want to live that life and he ran away.
Right.
And basically the story picks up where he kind of returns from a war, has given away his old life and is starting a new life and under an assumed identity, and we start learning interesting things about this universe, and that's about as far as I can go without getting spoilery.
No spoilers. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's like, I found it a really charming book. It's like a nice, easy read. There's lots of sort of nice moments in there that are kind of heartwarming and good. But it goes to some kind of dark places as well. It's got some, some nuance in sort of the feel of it. So it's very, very sort of, heartwarming is what I guess would describe it. Yeah, some nice, happy feelings, but then takes you to some more difficult things that you got to deal with as well. So, yeah, but it's a pretty short book. It's a nice little fantasy magic world that's not all just swords and dragons type fantasy. So, yeah, I would recommend that one. It's a good read.
Witchmark by C.L. Polk.
That's right.
Polk. Like a polka.
Yeah, like polka, but with no A.
Nice. So the next section was supposed to be favourite writers. And I was going to do a thing on Isaac Asimov, but we have a lot of audience questions to get to, so I'll probably skip that this week. Plus, I've already written quite a large part about the original BBC radio play of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I think this episode is going to be plenty full. Yeah. So let's jump straight on to coming up. Now, excitingly, as I mentioned, we have made some headway in getting my books up on other retailers and platforms and whatnot. We have just the two books at the moment, Dracula and War of the Worlds, available on a bunch of different places. Kobo, Walmart, Nook, Storytel, Hoopla, Libro FM, and Google Play. And, of course, we just got Dracula picked up for the first library system to be loaned out to people. I'm incredibly excited about that. That's Biblioteca, I believe. I really hope that we'll get up on various Libbies about the place at some point.
Libby,
that's
or
my favourite.
Borrow Box, that's the other one we
New
get
Zealand's
from our local
version,
library.
The local Borrow Box.
Yep.
That's right. I have bugged them already.
Cool.
Yeah, because I want it up there. Yeah.
Cool. So that's what's coming up for...
Yeah, and on the home front, of course, Around the World in 80 Days continues for patrons and YouTube members. I believe they're on 13 and 14 just went up.
15, 16
15,
just
16.
went up.
Wow,
I'm
there
actually
you go.
listening to Around the World in 80 Days for the first time as it's being released. I've never read the book before either, so it's all completely brand new to me. I'm really enjoying Tim's reading and getting to know this world, and also getting it released like chapter by chapter serially as it was originally written as well. So I think it kind of really fits the format in this instance. Yeah.
A little bit faster though, 2 chapters at a time.
Yeah.
Because they're quite short.
They are, but it's
But it's going well.
I'm very much enjoying Around the World in 80 Days. Yeah.
Good. I like Tim's work. I think he's done a good job putting this one together.
Yeah, yes.
And the free-to-wear audience, of course, has just gotten the second chapter of Conan. So that's cool. That'll be going up. And then when this is done, they'll get Around the World in 80 Days as well. I think that's next for them.
And that's available on Patreon, isn't it? So
Yes.
you should sign up to Patreon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On the $5 tier,
Yes.
right, you get all of Conan. Is that right?
So with the $1 tier, you get the current release, the current chapter, well, in this case 2 chapters because they're
Right.
short ones,
Yeah.
and you got access to that for 2 weeks. So you've got 2 weeks to catch up basically on
Mm-hmm.
each chapter as it's released. That's the $1 tier. The $5 tier, you get all chapters of the current novel
Right.
for
Yep,
the
yep, yep.
duration
That's it.
of that novel's release.
That's the same as YouTube members as well. They get the same thing. It's this current book, all of it.
That's right. For $10, you get that, but you also get the whole previous
Right.
book. So in this
There you
case,
go.
they would be getting 80 days as it's released, and the previous one, which is Conan.
Yeah, right. Excellent. I get a bit confused about the tiers because it all changed.
Very confusing. But if you want $25, $25 a month, you will get Around the World in 80 Days, Conan, and Sherlock.
Nice. There you go.
3 books for $25.
Yeah, very nice.
Not bad.
That's a bit of a bargain there. Now, on to the biggest section, the audience questions. I thought you might like to read out the questions and then I'll answer them as best I can.
Cool, yes.
I've not written down the answers, so you're going to get pure unfiltered Steve.
Oh, be careful, everyone.
Yeah, that may or may not be good.
I'll do my best to rein him in, but it can be hard. All right, let's go. Okay, question 1 from Bryce Craps.
Sorry,
That
that's a great name.
wasn't a description of what he's doing. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
does.
Yes, it's true. There's a famous Japanese book about it. Everybody poops.
Oh, there's a kid's book or something.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a kid's book. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can do an audiobook version of that one day.
Ew.
Should I be doing a voice for each of these?
You can if you want. Oh my. Here we go.
Bryce Craps. Like Bond, James Bond, but
Oh, I see.
I did it the wrong way
That
around.
would have been
didn't I?
Craps, Bryce
Crap.
Craps.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Bryce.
Crap.
Anyway, my wife is a huge fan and often falls asleep listening to your audiobooks. Would it be possible to record a special message for her? If so, how much would it cost?
Right, this is Bryce. Okay, we're working on this at the moment. Yes, it is possible, of course, for quick little ones, if time is not of the essence. If it's just like, "Hi, this is Steve. Happy birthday," or something like that, I'll probably do that for free. You know, honestly, for like.
Careful.
Yeah,
You're going to end up doing hundreds of these now.
No. For like subscribers and Patreons, you know, YouTube members and patron supporters, they can have that for free, I think.
Okay.
It would be very cheap, even if you're part of the free-to-air audience. I wouldn't charge much for that sort of thing. But Bryce ended up wanting something a bit more complicated that required a bit of writing and stuff. And I think even for that, we charged like $50. So I am not expensive. I am a cheap date. But yeah, for the work, there's a bit of cash. Yes, I can do it, and the price is negotiable. It depends on how much you want done, basically.
Cool. So yeah, if you want something personal from Steve, hit him up and
Or from
he'll let
Alice
you know.
doing a voice.
Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, next question is from George Murphy. Where do you think George is from?
Well, my mother's maiden name is Murphy. I'm technically part Murphy, and I'm from Australia.
Australia. Oh, so just an Australian accent.
Yeah. Aye. Unless you
Alright.
can do Irish. Can you do Irish?
Oh, maybe on a shorter question. This one's a little bit long.
Okay.
I reckon I can do Aussie though.
Oh, God.
I reckon. I got you here,
All right.
Cobber. Don't worry.
Go on then.
All right. I want to make content like this and collaborate with other people, companies. I've not long completed a media course at college, and I was just wondering whether you had any advice on any next steps or how to get closer to that point.
Yes, indeed I do. I follow a few like voice actor and audiobook producer subreddits, and we get questions like this fairly often from people that want to start out. And my advice is just do it. Go and do it. Get started. YouTube channels are free to set up. There's plenty of free recording software, free editing software, Audacity. I think Tim recorded and edited all of Around the World in 80 Days on Audacity, which is absolutely free. So you can do that. You'll need a semi-decent mic, but you'll be amazed how cheap my mics are. I spend like $130, 150 maybe. I'm not
I
sure.
think it was a bit more than that, but
Was it?
it's
Okay.
still for like, let's say $200.
Yeah,
maybe you
yeah,
can
yeah,
buy.
yeah. I mean, plenty of people use the Yeti Blue, right? And that's what I use. That's what I've always used. That's not quite the model I got for Tim, but pretty much everyone that you've ever heard performing on any of my audiobooks, I bought them a Yeti Blue to get their work
A
done.
quick Google said about 200 to 250 for a Yeti Blue.
Is that New Zealand
I
dollars?
don't know what currency that is.
Right.
Probably defaulting to New Zealand, as that's where we are. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look it up in your local area. But yeah, I can, you can get yourself a pretty I mean, even some gaming headsets, and that sort of thing have pretty decent mics on them, particularly if you're just starting. Get yourself a short story or something like that and just get into it. Start, practice. Get used to recording, working with the technology, editing your stuff, and, making thumbnails is super easy nowadays. There's plenty of like free, artists sites. Let me just have a quick look. I use Raw Pixel and Pixabay and some other places like that around the place. Wikipedia has some public domain images, that sort of thing. Make sure you're not stealing stuff from other people. We've had quite a few people that even I used to pay people on. I'm getting off the track here. I used to pay people on Fiverr to make thumbnails for me, and they'd charge me a goddamn fortune, and then I'd find out that they've stolen the image from somewhere, and all they've done is arrange it. So just make sure your stuff is legal. Make sure whatever you're recording is legal in the public domain, so you're not going to get in any legal trouble or anything. And just start, just do it, just get into it. Honestly, it's same as the old joke, how do you get to the Albert Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Get started, get your licks in, get your practice, get that done. You'll get better, and you'll work out whether it's something you actually want to do. So yeah, just start, just do it. That's my advice.
good advice. Cool. Next question is from Galaxy Jazz Girl.
Nice.
Where do you think she's from?
Ursa Minor? Alpha Centauri? Give us your best alien voice.
Oh gosh. Okay. Oh. Okay. So this question is on War of the Worlds. What sound effects did you use for the Martian sounds?
I didn't know she was a robot. That's cool. That's good. Well done, my love. No, that's great. That's excellent alien voice. What sound effects did you use for the Martian sounds in War of the Worlds? Of course, that was me, with some sound effects laid over the top. The those ones.
Right. Yeah.
Or oola, something like that.
Yeah.
Oola, right? Yeah, that's all me. That's all me,
Cool.
baby. I spent a whole recording session just sitting in my little booth making stupid noises and warping them with various sound effects to make it sound nice and alien and good. I'm pretty happy with how they came out too. Yeah.
It's a good day in the office for Steve.
Yeah, I get to just play. It's a good day when I get to just play. That's fun.
Okay, next question. Good Citizen on Dracula. Yes, Tim Williams too. I'm an absolute Tim Williams fan at this point.
Nice.
I can't wait. I'm going to start it tomorrow in my big rig. Does anyone know if Mr. Williams has his own YouTube channel? Obviously, I'm a Steve Parker fan too.
Yeah. That's all right. We know this is all about Tim. That's fine. He did damn fine work in Dracula, one of the two lead roles, of course. He does have a YouTube channel, but he doesn't really have anything on it. He just uses it to watch other people's things and all that sort of stuff. Tim is mostly a theatre actor. He doesn't do a lot of digital stuff. You've heard, honestly, most of what he's done. I think there are some short films somewhere, one where he had the lead, where I performed with him. I don't even know where that would be. Maybe Soulstone Pictures might have a copy of that. Soulstone, all one word. I'm not sure. But yeah, he does have a channel. I think I have it linked somewhere. I'll try and link it in the description of this one. There's nothing on it, but maybe you can go on his channel and comment and bug him to upload some stuff. I've given him access to some of the stuff he's recorded for me and said, here, put this up. We'll make you some tapes or something. Let me know if you want original files. You can do little voice profile things. But yeah, he's a busy guy in his real life. So, yeah.
Cool. Next question. Yes, I've given up on the voices.
Okay.
Azimali, is your accent standard British, i.e. BBC accent, i.e. modern RP? Please explain about your pronunciation and accent in your audiobooks.
See, part of the reason that I know he's not a native English speaker is I think most native English speakers know I'm not British RP, which is the frightfully upper class sort of BBC British voice. That's modern RP, BBC accent. I am Australian, of course, but I don't sound particularly Australian because I try and mute the sounds of my home nation so I can have a relatively neutral international tone to my readings for people. And I just sort of ended up sounding like this. Yes. So I'm Australian, but I don't sound very Australian.
No, which is good, because the Australian accent is a little bit annoying.
A little bit. It was a cold, bright day in April as the clock struck 13 and Winston walked up to his door and he went, geez, it's blooming cold, isn't it? And he chucked on a stubby and drank a beer and watched some footy cricket. Yes. No?
No, thank you. I don't want to listen to a book like that.
No, awful. Awful.
Okay. Princess Sylveon on War of the Worlds. So weird hearing a guy read a line in a lady's voice.
Yeah, I've had comments like this a few times. It's pretty standard, actually, because, you know, paying other actors is an extra level of complexity and you have to direct them and organise the recording and then edit it all together and all. It's difficult. Yeah. It's really, really difficult. The two fully cast audiobooks I've made, Dracula and Alice in Wonderland, have lost me enormous amounts of money and taken a lot of work to put together. So, yeah, for the most part, it's just going to be me doing a lady's voice and I'll sound a bit like this. Hello.
Because you've got like two ladies' voices. You've got a lady's voice and
That's
an
right.
old lady's voice.
That's right. I've got this one here and I've got this one here, which is quite ridiculous. And I stole directly from Monty Python. But there you go. Sometimes that character has popped up in various books. There you go.
Cool. Next question is from Prep Invest on Dracula. The fact that you don't get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views should be a crime.
I agree. Lock them up.
Well, you did have 1 million views.
4 million.
We had a million on 1984 before it went away
4
for a
million.
while. 4 million.
4 million.
Really? I remember it hitting 1 million. Maybe I lost.
Yeah.
Stopped counting after that.
We had 4 million on the original video before they forced it to be taken down. And that was a real kick in the fork for the channel. But we're slowly rebuilding. We're coming back. So I'm honestly just glad people are enjoying what I do enough to stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And our final question.
Mm-hmm. Good
From
luck with the name.
Guru wa la 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 la.
Yeah. Close enough.
I'm sorry if there was too many roos and las in that, but
I think he commented on a previous episode as well. He came up with
the
some
name
names,
is familiar,
some potential
yes.
names. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, yes.
But question is, Steve, will you do any writing competition again soon?
I do have a few people interested in this one, and I'm going to say yes.
Ooh.
And we have a date.
Oh.
And we have a word count.
Oh.
And we have a prompt.
I think that's everything we need.
Yeah. Should I give them out now?
Yes.
Give our patrons and our YouTube members a bit of a advanced heads up. That might be good, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I think you get an extra month
Ooh.
from everyone else because this is quite far ahead.
Okay.
This one is to be handed in by the end of June. So you've got quite a while still. It is for 2,500 words. This is our biggest writing competition that we've ever done.
Wow.
But we're not going to do anywhere near as many. This might be the only one this year, so it's bigger. You've got more to play with. It's up to 2,500 words, by the way. You don't have to write 2,500 by any means. If you run out of inspiration at 300, then send that in, you know. And the prompt is 50. For no reason. 50. And the winner will be announced on the 24th of July, 2025. And the prompt is 50. For no reason at all. Would you like to tell them what you think the reason might be?
It's Steve's birthday, and he's turning 50.
Yes,
and he's going to be very sad.
I'm going to be
So please
very
write some
sad.
very good stories to make him happy.
Yes, or something incredibly violent. No. You write whatever you want to write. The prompt is 50 because that's nice and broad. I figure that gives you whatever the muses bring you, you can write about. So, 2,500 words. The prompt is 50. And hand it in by the end of June. You can do it, I believe, on steveparkeraudiobooks.com. Is there still that competition page?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Yeah. If not, you can use the inquiries page, the contact us or whatever it's called. And that'll be fine. It'll get through to us. Yeah. Okay. Is that it for the questions? I think it is.
That's it.
Yes, it is. Okay, so now we get on to my favourite bit, on which I have written a lot. The favourite or featured audiobooks / readers. And this month, featured read is the original Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio series from 1978, if you can get it. Or if you prefer a slightly more polished version, you can listen to the versions I listened to every night when I was going to sleep on a kid. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy Part 1 and Part 2, The Restaurant to the End of the Universe, on 3 LPs originally, but you can get them on CD now, and I have them up there on the bookshelf just to your left, my love.
For those of you that aren't incredibly old, you can probably just get them digitally, not even on a physical media format.
I owned the albums.
I'm sure you did.
I did. I had them on vinyl.
Well, I know you do own them, because as you said, they're right there.
Well, I've got them on CD now, yeah. But I had the records, but unfortunately vinyl doesn't age very well, especially if you're listening to them every day as a kid and you're a bit rough with them. Anyway, the series was the first radio comedy program to be produced in stereo. The first one ever. This is how early we're talking. Alice does not look impressed. And it was innovative in its use of music and sound effects, winning a bunch of awards. The plot follows Earthman Arthur Dent, who learns that his house is about to be demolished to make way for a new highway bypass. His friend, Ford Prefect, a perfectly ordinary name, I think you'll agree, Ford Prefect, informs him that this doesn't actually matter very much, as the whole planet is about to be demolished by a Vogon constructor fleet to make way for a hyperspace bypass, and that Ford is in fact an alien writer for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a pan-galactic encyclopedia and travel guide. As this is tricky news to take, he first prepares Arthur by taking him to have a few pints at the local pub. When Arthur complains that it's lunchtime and too early for pints, Ford responds with the immortal line,
"Time is an illusion. Lunchtime doubly so. Drink up."
The pair escape the destruction of the planet Earth by hitching a ride aboard the Vogon constructor ship, which has just destroyed Earth. They are found by the Vogons later, who are described as
not actually evil, but bad-tempered, bureaucratic, officious, and callous. They wouldn't even lift a finger to save their own grandmothers from the ravenous bug-blatter beast of Tral without orders signed in triplicate, sent in, sent back, queried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and finally buried in soft peat for 3 months and recycled as firelighters.
And they are ejected from the ship into deep space and are miraculously picked up by a passing spaceship the Heart of Gold, which is powered by the brand new Infinite Improbability Drive, which explains how they were found in the first place, sort of. This description doesn't go on too long, I promise. Captaining the ship is Ford's semi-cousin and president of the galaxy, Zaphod Beeblebrox, one of my first favourite characters ever in the history of literature, who stole the ship at its launching ceremony. There's also a woman Arthur met at a party, Tricia McMillian, henceforth known as Trillian, and a manically depressed robot, Marvin the Paranoid Android, who is possibly my favourite all-time character.
Life. Don't talk to me about life.
I don't think I can stand that robot much longer, Zaphod.
Beeblebrox, it turns out, is searching for the legendary planet of Magrathea, a fabulous planet which created bespoke planets for the ultra-rich, where Arthur meets a planet designer, Slarty Bartfast, and learns the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, which I will not spoil here. Arthur and the others find themselves at the restaurant at the end of the universe, which is as bizarre as it sounds, and is then held captive aboard a Golgafrinchian ship about to crash land in prehistoric Earth because, time is an illusion. Now, this fantastic story filled the ears of young Steve Parker, not yet dreaming of what I do now, but definitely having my little red head bombarded with the genius of this production and the brilliance of the story. The multi-award-winning sound effects were awe-inspiring and completely informed me on what a soundscape from an audiobook should be, just as Douglas Adams, the writer, informed me of what wit and humour should look like in my own writing. The music was so good that it even made a banjo, one of the musical world's greatest crimes, sound brilliant. For my creations, I still consider myself lucky that I have occasional access to an unsung but fantastically talented musician in Jet. You can tell when she does the music as compared to when I do, as her music sounds ethereal and dark and brilliantly produced, and mine sounds like a middle-aged nerd alone on his guitar going plang, plang, plang. Yeah. As The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was originally a radio play, not an audiobook, it was a full cast production featuring some of the great lights of the time, many of whom you might not recognize by name, but you would likely know them by sight. The photos are up on the video version of this podcast, of course. Peter Jones played the book itself, which was basically the narrator of the story. Simon Jones played Arthur Dent, the hero of the story. He's unrelated to Peter Jones, but is the first cousin once removed of Daniel Craig, the previous James Bond, for those keeping score. Jeffrey McGivern was Ford Prefect. Stephen Moore was Marvin the Paranoid Android. Mark Wing Davey was Zaphod Beeblebrox. And this was the first time I'd ever heard an American actor in a British production, as opposed to British actors doing terrible American accents and putting hard R's in wherever they felt like it. Famously, they used to pick on British actors doing American accents by saying they sounded like Americans. Richard Vernon played the planet designer Slarty Bartfast, and other cast members in smaller roles included Joanna Lumley, Sandra Dixon, Griff Rhys-Jones, and Jonathan Pryce. I can still remember every note of the theme song and can probably quote more from the radio plays than the following books, than the subsequent audiobooks, than I could remember the birthdays of my own family.
What's my birthday?
Or the names of the people I currently hang out with or work with. I do actually remember your birthday.
I know.
Yeah. To be fair, though, that is a bad test. I'm terrible with names. Some people have face blindness. I have name deafness. Hitchhikers really did start my love affair with this art form, though. The BBC made some of the best radio plays in the world, and without this one in particular, I don't think I'd be where I am today. I could go on for another, month about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and its various iterations and awards, groundbreaking new techniques created for the show, legal issues, time issues with Adams missing deadline after deadline, the movie, the TV show, the computer game, and just how much all of this meant to be. And one day, maybe I will, but for now, I think we'd better call it there, because contrary to what Ford told Arthur in the pub, time may be an illusion, but we are running out of it now. So that's it for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for all of your support. It really means a lot to me. We'll be back with more next month. Feel free to send in your favourites, your comments, complaints and questions, and we'll endeavour to get to all of them. And if you're lucky, maybe Alice will do a funny accent based on where she thinks you're from while she's reading out the questions.
If you want to put in your comment what accent or impression you would like me to try, go for it. I can't promise that I'll actually do it, but I'll give it a crack.
Great. So that's it. All the best from me and mine to you and yours, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.